Producer.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to the cluster of insanity that is tonight.
Yep.
Yeah. Do we have a cool name for this?
Yes, the cluster of insanity that is tonight.
It's a little wordy. We're gonna have to workshop it.
There's no pleasing you, is there?
Uh, you're gonna have to try harder, I think.
So, yeah, tonight is sort of episode. I don't know. Do we still call this session 12? I feel like this is it's not
Mm,
really a session.
no, I think we need a cool name for it.
Um,
What do you call it? An off week? Bye week?
Uh, I don't know. I don't think
Hmm.
Fantasy Name Generator is gonna have a name for it.
Well, I mean, let's just roll it and see what happens.
For what?
Fantasy name generator. We gotta.
That's not how it works. So let me clue you all in on what's going on tonight
Test.
because we're just kind
Oh,
of rambling. What's that, Max?
right now. Do you guys hear?
You
You're
like
cutting
cut
in
off
and
at the
out.
end there.
Okay. We'll figure out when I figure this out.
Yeah. So what's going on tonight is several things. As Cole put it earlier, the stars are completely misaligned for us tonight. As I'm moving the overlay all over the place. This is just nuts. Um, there we go. So, the reason we're starting late is because my son hurt his finger earlier, and we were trying to sort that out, and so my wife just took him to urgent care. And then we just found out a few minutes ago that Derelium is not going to be available tonight. She has work starting or school starting in the morning, and everybody's just kind of frazzled tonight. So I thought what we would do. Who are you, Cole? Um,
Yes. God,
what?
Almost coming through.
You're cutting out again.
Yeah, I think it's a game.
You think it's the game?
Game.
Oh, the game. Oh yeah, I was having trouble with that for a long time.
It's all part of the
How's that?
grand
You guys?
game.
So, what I thought that we would do tonight is just kind of sit down with our players and do a little Q&A. Just kind of talk about how the campaign's going and, maybe a little bit about what their characters are thinking and wanting. And, I mean, we've done some of this a little bit on the side in our Discord, which, by the way, is Fellowship of the Tables. If somebody wants to trigger the bot to put that in chat, that would be great. Fellowship of the Tables is a lovely Discord server that all of us are on, where lots of RPG games are played, and yeah, lots of cool people hanging out. So you should come hang out too. Um,
I don't know if we want to lie to them.
you're cutting out again.
I said I don't
Nope. Try again.
them.
Nope.
I'll figure this out eventually.
Nope.
No?
No,
Nope.
that one worked.
Nope.
Are you just saying no now? Andrew, you're really confusing the situation. Max,
Sorry.
those last couple were pretty good.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm messing with level sensitivity and the mic gain.
Your cough came through really well.
It was
Oh
Nope.
man. Oh, it's exclamation point Discord.
Weird. I'm not seeing the bot.
Discord won this Oh yeah, you're right. The bot did do it. Oh yeah, you got it. So, for shenanigans like this, please come check out the Discord and play games and stuff. There are lots of cool games going on all the time. Some D&D, some not. Many not really. And in other news for this week, there's a new playlist up on YouTube, which has all of the sessions thus far on exploring Suphyria. So that added a lot of fun to my week. The first, what is it, 6 or so videos are audio only, as we were at the time considering just doing like a podcast type thing. Then we decided that was lame. Who does podcasts anymore?
Everybody.
So
By that he means I was too lazy to do it.
So we thought we would stream it instead, and so both audio and video are available on the YouTube list, which I definitely have very close at hand. It is I actually do have it right here in my notes. There we go. So, if you would like to catch up on what's going on in this campaign, please do check it out right there. And I'm gonna put my video up on here too. So, this
Max is also missing from the video.
no,
I'm not.
no, he's not.
Oh wait, never mind. I paused it. Ignore me.
Yeah, so this video overlay thing is a pain. I may have to figure out a better way to do this. We may have to like switch to Zoom or something so that this is not so painful. Because clearly,
Zoom, the old Xbox or MP3 player or Microsoft MP3 player.
no.
Zoom.
No.
Yep.
Zoom.
Was it by Microsoft? Is that
Zoom.
right?
Zoom as in zoom as in flash.
Yeah, Zunes. Zune. Yeah.
No. ZOOM. Zulu Oscar Mary. Anyway, no, it's a like a voice video call thing.
It's M as in
Unexpected
Mancy.
perspective heroics. What? Oh, we're doing acronyms of Suphyria in the chat. Nice. I like that. So yeah, keep an eye out for that, because that may be a thing that happens soon, because this is very painful to get the overlay right. And I can't keep the issue is I can't really keep the browser from week to week, or I haven't really successfully been able to yet, which means I have to reset up the overlay every week. I can't really do that without people on it. So I think
We just need to enter Roll20 the same order every time or something.
No, I don't think that's gonna help.
Okay.
The issue is with the window. I'm not keeping track of the reference to the window. So that might be a thing that we experiment with going forward. Let's see. So what else is going on this week? New character art. Cole, Aramis, you want to talk about that?
Sure. So, been on the waitlist for a bit, and finally got in to one of that Art Jack's streams. So, he's a great artist who does a lot of the Shadow of the Demon Lord official art, and also streams over on his channel. which I'll plug if that's all right.
Sure.
Streams Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at noon CST.
Cool. I'm gonna put this up
So
on.
very nice guy.
Cool. I'm gonna put this up on screen so people can see it.
It's very cool.
There it is. Cool is that?
Peck there.
That is some amazing art right there.
He is looking real gritty.
And that was in 2 hours, believe it or not.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Check out the eyes too. He is looking severe. So what did you have to give him to get that done? Not in terms of money. I'm asking more like what description did you give him of Cole?
Just pretty basic, kind of described a clash of peasant farmer stylings versus the fancy adventurer style, and kind of just described the simple straw hat, simple vestments, and supplied some reference poses.
Okay. Wait, reference poses? What are those?
Just went on Google and found poses of other people and supplied. Okay, so I'd like, a peck to be on his shoulder, kind of standing like this creature in this picture.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't do the reference poses yourself.
That's
No,
kind of what I was
unfortunately
picturing.
I was gonna say, I think those are the pictures we want to bring up. Like that's the real money.
So, did you give him the original art that you were using? Because it really reminds me of that a lot.
Yeah, I supplied him with that, and that's why his face is so angular, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
It's because it's based on more of an anime style, I think is where the original art came from, or at least a visual novel. And yeah, so I don't mind talking about it because it's kind of an ad for him, but that cost $50. Charges $25 for an hour speed painting, $50 for 2.
That's not bad at all.
No.
Yeah, very cool. So, yeah, go check out that art, Jack, if you like this art. JackKaiser.info apparently. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, so Q&A wise, chat, if you have any questions about the campaign or the characters, please let me know. Otherwise, we're just gonna kind of roll with it.
We're gonna take questions from the fans. Ugh.
I mean, they'll be curated. By which I mean, if I see it in chat and I don't like it, I'm not gonna respond to it.
To preempt the question, no, we did not roll stats for the fatal system.
Fatal? Oh gosh. That again. Wow. I'm like, I've heard of that system. Where have I heard it? Oh.
It's the thing we don't talk about.
Yes. So anyway, yeah, I think I did not prepare questions in advance, obviously, for this. I was not expecting to have a Q&A night, but I don't know, I guess I'd love to maybe just start with just kind of hear y'all's general thoughts on the campaign and kind of the style, and what you think is going well and, you know, maybe not so well too.
Man, you just want us to give you brutal feedback live on the internet?
Go for it.
This seems like poorly advised, Andrew.
I mean, feel free. I'm sure it won't reflect back on what happens to your characters next week.
Oh, in that case.
I mean, I've done like online stuff before with people, and this is the first time that I've
Wow,
done.
that's a
Hold on
big
a sec.
reveal
Let me
right there.
reverse that. D&D 5e stuff online with random internet people.
www.superiorstrikes.com.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with the first one. And I don't think I've ever made it past like 2 or 3 sessions, just because the groups didn't gel, or it just they weren't people that I'd want to spend significant amounts of time with.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't had that problem with this. I don't think I've ever had a problem feeling like I dreaded coming on the game. So I mean, that's like
Didn't dread it.
that's
That's a
that
win.
yeah, that's more than I can say for a lot of the games I've been in online. So I mean,
I'll take it.
I'm enjoying it so far. Yeah. I think you keep us moving pretty well. We're starting to get into like the role playing, like getting into our characters' heads, I think, which is
Mhm.
cool. I mean, besides Max, he's always been in his character's head, I think. I think that just might be him in real life. I'm not sure.
No, I have troubles with the line between myself and my characters often.
um, but yeah, so A plus plus for me. Well, let's just do an A.
Don't want to go overboard.
Man, quick on me.
Fair, fair. Yeah, I mean, this group definitely has had, I've done other campaigns as well, and I definitely think that this group has had better camaraderie than pretty much any group I can think of that I've tried to run with. I feel like we're all pretty experienced gamers. Um, some of us more in like the tabletop stuff or whatever that is. But yeah, and I think we've most of us are like to the point that we could actually GM a game ourselves. Um, and so I think that's helped, and uh, yeah, I feel like we have a good camaraderie.
Yeah.
So, what do you think makes a good group? Like, what do you think makes some groups that just mesh and some groups that don't? Because I feel like we're not exactly similar people. I don't know that I'd want to like role play with 4 other me's. That'd be pretty obnoxious. But so, what do you think? What do you guys think really like makes a good group or makes a successful group?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
I think that it's really just about listening and kind of even if you not the same vision of the game, but like the same level of commitment. We just kind of need to be on the same page of like, do we want to get like really serious role playing? Are we going like really heavy metagaming, or is this just gonna be like hour gaming? Or is this like a beer and pretzels, like we're messing around? We need to buy in at the same price. And I think that we have. I think Andrew was actually really good at establishing what that price was too.
Yeah, session 0 was really good for that. I think we have
Absolutely.
enough like fun, but also, we don't necessarily get into the weeds as much as, well, yeah, we don't necessarily like get as far off track as some other like in-person games I've done. Like when you're sitting there drinking around a table, like that's a very different thing than this.
Yeah, and I think that part of that is I'm realizing more and more that's a style thing for me. I don't really run silly games. I've talked about this in the Discord some. Um, that's just not me. I like high drama and making trying to make my players feel things and make difficult choices and struggle with that. I think that's a lot of fun.
I also think you're starting to get to the point where you're making us feel things, not just the characters.
Mm-hmm.
where I think you're getting to know us well enough that you can actually like pull our strings, not just our character strings.
Mhm.
So yeah.
I think that's an important distinction too. I took a theater class in college, and the one like I feel like every class like you really just have like one lesson stick with you, and he talked a lot about how melodrama or like cheap drama emotions drama can actually like create emotion. It can like make you feel something,
Mm.
and I think that's something we've actually been getting out of this, whether it's Andrew's settings and situations he puts us in, or just our role playing together. I think that we're putting in some real work emotionally.
Yeah, and I mean, I know I've said it on the Discord, and it sounds awful, but one of my goals as a GM is someday I want to make a player cry. Like I want. I mean, that's what it sounds awful, but I want that to be able to create something that is important enough to somebody that they have that level of emotional involvement in it. I think would be really cool. And so we'll see if we get there.
And you want to do it on the internet for everyone to see.
Sure, why not?
And clip it and pin it in every channel in the Discord.
So yeah. So King Toad has asked a question in the chat. He says, how do the characters actually view each other compared to how they act toward each other? Interesting question.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I guess I can hop in. Cole, being a very basic small town human farmer, has only ever seen orcs in terms of raids when they're moving into character. And so Sepaklu, being a half orc, kind of freaks him out a little bit on the surface level, but you know, getting to know him, he's all right. And then Godric, you know, he's human, decent beard, he's all right. And then Savon, I still don't know exactly, haven't nailed down how he feels on,
Mm-hmm.
because he's never seen any kind of devil or anything like her before. But when she's just wearing the cloak and disguised herself as a human, yeah, she's fine. She saved a couple of our lives before, so.
Yeah. Yeah, so I do want to say the half work thing came up a couple of times in sessions, and I think that in Suphyria, it's actually half works are not all that uncommon. It's not super common, but my thinking in is that sort of in the history of Suphyria that all the races really kind of came together back during the Age of Communion when there was everybody was following Benton and everything was good before Wilena came
The
in
good
and
old
screwed
days.
everything up. What's that?
Yeah,
the good old days, exactly. And so I mean that was a long time ago, but I think that the prejudices that would exist in some settings are probably not nearly as prevalent in Suphyria, and especially listening back to some of the older episodes recently, I realized I have not made that very clear. But to your point, Aramis, I do think probably it's not a stretch to think that Cole has not seen half works a lot at least.
Right.
Yeah, orcs would be sort of a race that I mean they're a monstrous race, as described in Volo's guide. They're the kind of things that live in the woods and raid farms at night and things like that. So yeah, the fact that there are half orcs out there wouldn't necessarily surprise him, but I could definitely see him not really knowing what to make of it either.
So I think as far as Supaklu goes, I think so. He's a good guy at heart. You know, he spent time in the military as a scout. Um, but you know, he's good at heart. He does what needs to be done, I guess, which he gets sort of from the military stuff. And then when you know, he was a bounty hunter, so he had needed to get used to interacting a little bit with the underworld. And I think that sort of has, you know, he's been bringing in bounties, but you have to sort of get entrenched in that a little bit to be in that world. It's like coming to Savan, and I think he thinks she's sort of a good person at heart too, and probably more so than um, others. You know, being a half orc, seeing her probably surprised him, but it doesn't necessarily put him off quite as much because there's been times when he's felt like he didn't belong to. So there's that. Um, and then as far as like Cole and Godric, I think Spaklu probably feels pretty similarly about them. You know, they're both good guys. They both have their own like naivete about them. Um, he's done a lot of managing Godric, which he definitely hasn't done with Cole. I think he's like he understands the way that Godric works and like how he does what he does. And Max is really good about, you know, when I try to steer him somewhere, he plays it real straight, and I think it's good. And yeah, so I think it's working out well so far.
I think Godric is not as naive, maybe, as he comes off. He's a very uncompromising personality, and so right now he trusts the group enough because he doesn't have any proof. Really growing increasingly suspicious, let's say. Uh but again, in his mind, like he's lawful until he has like proof to act upon. He's gonna continue to treat them like very kindly and generously as people who've at least earned that until he has, until he basically knows that you're lying about something important. Then I really don't know how he'll take it, depending on what comes out and in what way, but we'll see. I don't think that's going to be as big of a deal as she worried. Just the fact that she lied about it is going to be an issue for him.
That she lied about what? The tiefling thing?
Yeah.
Got it.
Honestly, personally, I wasn't sure if I remembered knowing that she was a tiefling or not. Like, I personally wasn't certain she was a tiefling until like last week.
Mm.
Like, I thought it was mentioned, like she did something, but
Yeah, I wasn't sure how much of the old recordings you had heard. I guess you wouldn't have heard them, any of them, before we went to Twitch.
no, I think the first two were done, but I didn't finish the second session.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, those are all up on YouTube, so you can now go find them if you would like.
Yeah, go back and find out why Savan is so scared that she was wanted throughout the city.
I'd rather not introduce the meta knowledge to myself because then I don't have the risk of acting on it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Like, personally, it's killing me to know. I think my game will be better if I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we should do more of the stuff where you kick us out of the chat room. And you haven't done this yet. I think some of like the private conversations we've had have been, you know, with the group here and like everyone gets a little, but like it might be cool to just kick everyone out of the Discord chat and be like, okay, come back in a minute and we'll, you know, talk about that.
What do you guys think about that?
So I think that's one benefit of games that aren't actually like shown or streamed like ours is there's no like concern about dramatic irony, like letting the audience in on something that our other characters won't know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
With ours, there's I don't think anyone here would do it with ill intent, but if you're kicking us out to like reveal a secret or something, and I'm watching the episodes
Yeah.
regardless,
I hope you froze a little bit at the end there, Max.
I'd find it out regardless.
Does everyone watch our stream after it's? Do you go back and watch?
No, but
Don't
I
go
could
back
see
and
why other
watch.
people would.
Okay.
I'm tempted to go back and make some clips of specific moments, such as "I'm a terrible person." That little nugget of gold.
Yeah.
I've gone back,
Yeah, you're still cutting out,
remember certain
Max.
things. Sorry, I don't take notes, so I've gone back to just like refresh my memory on stuff.
Mm,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely have done similarly, gone back and a number of times, watched the episode. Sometimes, like the next day, even I'll go back and just go back through it, just trying to just, I don't know, I guess processing it and thinking through it and things like that. And a lot of times I will also go back and find a particular scene and watch it or listen to it as I'm prepping to go, what exactly did Sivan say to this person?
Seeing if she gave her name or not.
Yes, that's definitely a thing.
It's a good tool to have. Why not use it?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, especially on your end, because like you are running the world. There's lots of
Yeah.
details that would be easy for you to
Yeah.
miss.
And I'm terrible at trying to write notes while I'm also doing everything else. I can't do it. I just cannot.
Yeah.
Even if it was for an in-person game, I would not be able to do it. I just cannot.
Yeah.
That is a level of multitasking that I cannot do. So just having a flat record is really incredibly useful.
Yeah.
I think all of us have DM'd before, so we definitely get the hazard of being on the other side of the screen, that you're not just role playing like the NPC for us, you're doing like 4 or 5 other things too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So Andrew, I have a question for you. Turn the tables.
Whoa.
Whoa.
All right. Hit.
All right. So we've gone from, session 0, session 1. Now we're on session 11, 12. So how has Suphyria changed and sort of grown since you started back then?
Wow. So it has changed enormously. I have invented a lot as we've gone. Particularly in July, I know I've mentioned this on the Discord server. I worked through. So there's a tool called World Anvil, which I use for my GM notes and keeping track of things. And there's a whole community of world builders that use World Anvil, and they have their own Discord server. And in July, they ran this month-long summer camp, they called it. And it was basically, here are 30 writing prompts for your world. Over the course of July, write 300 words on each of these writing prompts. And so I did. I went through all 30 prompts, and that grew things a ton. And definitely a lot that has been introduced over the past couple of months has grown out of that. Honestly, I did not have a lot of Suphyria fleshed out when we started, because I need that like, it's crunch time. Like, you got a game in 2 days. You got to prepare something. For me to be able to not procrastinate, I really need that. And so,
Yeah, me too.
yeah, it's definitely grown a lot and changed a lot, and it has surprised me a lot. There are a number of things where, I go to sit down and write an article, and I finish at the end, and I was like, where did that come from? I was not expecting the world to go in that direction at all.
Do you have those prompts somewhere? Like, are they available on the internet?
They are.
They're obviously available on the internet. Are they available someplace like concise and in one place?
They are, yeah. Let me pull them up.
Because like right now, I'm running, or I'm going to start running a Ravnica game in like a week or two. A week, I guess, a week and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I want to do it for that, or if I want to do it for like my own homebrew world, which
Yeah, I
I've
was
been
gonna
thinking
say you're
about.
making your own world too, right?
Yes, but also the more I do or world building on my homebrew world, the more I'm not prepping for Ravnica. So
Yeah, it's always a balance.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that's meant to be more of a short-term thing to get me back into DMing, and once that's good, I can sort of transition it into something of my own.
Yeah, so here is yeah, I just dropped in chat the link to the summer camp questions, which actually there was a thing about that today. I have to go look. I'll have to go and look and see what, because they were doing like a final ceremony, I think, for that today, and handing out prizes. So I'll have to go and see if I won anything. But anyway, yeah. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I'd say so. He's kind of frozen there.
Ken?
Me?
Yeah. Did I answer your question?
Oh yeah, sorry, I was reading the question. I got distracted. Sorry.
That's
I was
all right.
actually
Don't worry,
then I
it's not
started
live or
counting them.
anything.
No, it's
That
fine.
pause
It's
was
fine.
long enough. I was like, did I ask the question? What's going on here?
Sorry, there's some cool stuff in here, so I was
Yeah.
getting a little distracted.
World Animal's pretty sweet. They got some good stuff.
To share a bit from my very limited experience, another good tool is to get character backstories.
Oh,
They will
yeah.
prompt you to build something specific.
yes.
Yeah.
For example, in my upcoming Homebrew World campaign coming in late October, stay tuned.
Yes. Coming to this
I
channel in
got-
late October? This channel
Yes,
right here?
indeed. This channel, Fellowship of the Tables.
Oh,
Wow.
On the Discord, link there.
Is it really? Are we streaming it?
Is it coming to like the Twitch, or is this an
I
announcement?
know that 3 out of 4 characters are fine with it, and one of them just didn't have a camera, is his only thing, so probably won't be with cameras, but we can stream it here.
Yes.
Put cameras on everyone
Yeah.
but that one player.
You just make them in paint.
There you go.
Don't even consult him, just like come up with what you think he looks like based on his voice.
Yeah, perfect.
Nice.
Anyways, my original point is, so that happens a lot with us.
Yes.
So got basic backstories for most of the characters, and 3 out of 4 of them are either evil or criminally aligned. And I had not come up with any kind of like criminal presence in the main city, and I thought
That'll do
that'd be something that'll come up.
Yeah.
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 And now you have to have a whole underworld.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and
It'll be fun.
I would definitely say, on that note, the backstories that I got from the four of you are all just amazing. I love it, and I'm just reading over all of them in preparation got me so excited for the campaign because it was great.
Because we're all great writers, and very creative.
But
So
Andrew,
the
here's
next
the biggest question. Whose
Oh,
Oh, you cut out.
whose backstory was longest?
longest?
It's not about length, Max. It's about quality.
It's about how you use it.
But yes, I did get, was it 12 or 13 pages from Max?
I thought it was 11, but I don't know.
Did you actually read those pages, Andrew?
So moving right along. So King Toad asked another good question, which I'm gonna get to first in a second. I want to actually ask another question that's related to this, which is one thing that I've been doing, and this sort of happened spontaneously, but I'm really curious to hear your guys' feedback on this. All of your backstories are hunting you at once. Yeah, and that was sort of a specific style choice. And I'm curious what you guys think of that. So go ahead and talk about that. I'm going to mute myself for a minute and be right back, but I will be listening as you pontificate. I'm curious what you guys think about that.
Okay.
So now that he can't turn it down, I'm going to burn everything based on that trauma.
Perfect. So I think one of the nice things about having it all come together at once is like if you've ever watched, let's say, Critical Role, because that is the classic example, and they're on like a single character's, sort of like side quest thing, and they spend, 6 or 7 sessions just doing something for one character's side thing, it can get sort of samey. But also it's like, okay, well, what about all the backstories of everyone else, So we're not having that, and I think that's good. Now, the one thing that I guess could be negative about it is, can we follow all of these hooks, or are they just going to like sit out there? You know what I mean? Like, when are we going to get to them? That's a question.
Yeah, because I mean, not only are all the backstories happening at once, but it's also alongside a main plot that is quite active.
Yeah. You also like dropped in like, oh yeah, you guys should go to this. I guess is this part of Godric's backstory? Go to a completely different continent that no one's come back from.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Yeah, you froze again.
I think we're gonna. Yeah, no, they're all pressing it now, but we're gonna have to prioritize what we pursue.
Yeah.
I don't think exploring an unknown continent that like people just disappear on is something for us this low level.
Oh, we're level 3. We're basically gods.
Yeah, we could be fine. Who's to say why people aren't coming back? Really, it could just be they're really happy there.
Yeah, it's one big party.
Yeah, I mean, like Supaklu's backstory stuff. It's becoming more pressing for him, but I don't think there's a good argument for everyone else to care at this point. It's not like, oh, there's this bigger thing that we need to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like with Colt, well, I mean, no, I mean, there's like stuff that he really cares about, but also he's not telling anyone else about that stuff, so it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Savan stuff is like much more pressing, and then same thing with Cole, with this mysterious person that's in the city right now, telling people that he burned a village to crisp. Like these are both much more pressing. So then like me and Godric sort of like fade back a little bit for now, and like that's totally cool because like that, it keeps things moving forward too.
Right, but at least we have enough now to where like if somebody dies or falls off the show, it's not like, oh, we never knew anything about them.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah.
If somebody
Dungeons
dies.
and Random.
Not saying that's going to happen, Cole. But
As was,
now that he's got his artwork, that's just like a death flag right there.
That's true.
To say we don't have any Thorls in the group though. If anyone listens to DNR, he's just a character, no backstory, no like real motivations ever.
Wait,
He was a ranger who kicked the crap out of shit. Thorl, Arc 1.
I don't remember.
He had the,
Is he the one that got turned into?
he had the twin short.
You cut out again.
He was a vampire for a while.
Yeah,
he had,
okay.
Dual hand axes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we don't have that with anybody. We know at least a bit about each character.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and certainly, you know, the backstory threads are going to ebb and flow. Like, you know, Godric had, you know, several episodes when he first showed up where it was like he's finding his grandfather and learning a lot about what was, you know, about the family, what happened with his family. And right now, there's not a whole lot he can do about it, although there's his family sword to deal with. And so, hopefully, there will be, you know, ebb and flow for everyone. And yeah.
I better freaking find out a way to fix this sword. I'm gonna be so pissed.
So,
Well, if you made better decisions, you wouldn't have a rusty sword.
yeah, that's what happens when you don't show up for a week. I do something that would infuriate your character.
It probably would have happened the same way if I was there, though.
Yeah, I can imagine you sitting there thinking about it like, oh man, like Max really doesn't want to do this, but Godric really does.
I listened back, and I knew at the time it was a rust monster from the chat, but I don't think I would have known just on the description what it was.
Yeah, the second we
That
first
was
walked
like
into
more-
that tomb and saw this like armored creature with natural armor surrounded by rust, I was like,
Yeah.
The only way I would have saved myself is if Godric somehow had a good nature roll, which he does not have a good stat on.
Yeah. So, changing gears a little bit, King Toad asked, what is the homebrew world based in, like system and such? So I mean, I don't think settings really necessarily are tied to systems. Oh, what was that reaction, Max?
They absolutely are. Like, this is a sort of medievalish fantasy setting. It's D&D is well made for it. If we were playing a space campaign, we wouldn't have
Well,
picked 5e.
okay, but
does that sound like a challenge?
but I mean, take Theria. So Max and I are both fans of a show called
Differently.
Dungeons and Randomness. They've played that in both 4th edition and 5th edition. Is my point.
Sure.
So you know anyway. So I've had 5th edition in mind for it. That's all I really run. I tend to you know I have no plans on leaving 5th edition ever. Although I have been very impressed with what I've seen from Pathfinder 2. Anyway, so what it's based in, conceptually though, is a little over a year ago, I decided to sit down and think about what would happen in a world where the deities there was a small pantheon of deities that were more well-rounded, and had more desires and motivations than, you know, I am the god of fish, you know, things like that, which is kind of a pet peeve of mine. And so yeah, that's kind of how Suphyria was born last year. And then early this year I found an amazing map. Hang on a second.
King Toad is also asking in the chat, why is Godric so awesome? That's a good question.
All right, go ahead.
No.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's
I'm sorry.
expand on
I think
this.
he wanted to get your guys' ideas on it. Just why is Godric so cool? Ken, go ahead.
Well, he makes me think of a lot of like creative ways to solve problems. You know, it's like herding
That he
cats, sort
causes?
of. Yeah, that he causes. So I mean, he's awesome because he pushes us to role play, which is the whole point of this game.
I just brought this up to be a dick, but I do think that a fair addition to that too is that I definitely think his presence in the group does like preclude certain options. It's just like, well, we can't do that in
Yes.
front of Godric because that'd be a problem. So
Yeah,
even when I'm not causing problems, I'm still making them.
like the hat thing with or Savan, and we're just like, this hat would be really good for Savan, but Godric would really not like this hat.
Also, we can't really afford that hat, so it's really
Also, we can't afford that hat. Right.
God, that hat's so expensive.
We can. The secret ingredient is crime.
The 5-finger discount.
Oh, I don't think you guys have realized a very, very important thing about my character
He loves crime.
for when it comes up. What?
You said, we haven't realized a really important thing about your character, and I said he loves crime.
Nope.
Okay,
What is it?
interesting. We don't know. He's
Andrew, you know.
leaving us in suspense. Don't
Oh,
ruin.
okay. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
So that's a really vague comment, but I think I know. What
I
you're
know,
referring
but
to.
I
Keep
want
the
to
mystery. Keep the mystery.
tantalize
I feel tantalized.
that I'm doing my job.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, now I'm concerned that you don't.
No, I do now. It's one of the traits on your character sheet, right?
No, yeah, but everything's on my character sheet.
Okay.
Anyways,
Anyways,
we were
yeah.
talking about.
Yeah, sorry about that.
God damn it!
My son just got back from the doctor, so I was just checking in.
That's fine. I killed time by faking a question.
Does he have a cast on?
He's got like a fiberglass thing. They said they don't. So they took an X-ray, but they don't have a radiologist, and so they don't know if it's. They don't see a fracture, but apparently only a radiologist can actually read the X-ray. So,
Cool.
We're waiting back to. We're gonna have to wait, but in the meantime, they wanted to give him something that would keep it from moving. So they put it in fiberglass, but then it was so heavy that they also put it in a sling. So he looks like he's really badly hurt, even though it's probably not hurt at all, really. Just funny. So yeah, I was talking about the origins of Suphyria, and oh, that's not the map. Where is thought I had the map of Suphyria on this scene. Hang on. Oh, there we are. So I found this amazing map earlier this year, which I've really just kind of run with, and has given me a lot of ideas about storylines and just cool things I want to do in Suphyria. Sorry, this is not showing up very well, but so that was kind of the origin of Suphyria, and it's been a lot of fun to build out, and obviously, you know, just wanting to run a long-term campaign that took people from from level 1 to some very high number, which we will see.
Like 7 or 8.
At least 6.
We're getting pretty close.
No, I'm hoping to go 1 to 20. We'll see.
Has that ever happened in the history of any RPG ever?
Yeah, Critical Role did it in their first campaign.
Well, they're robot people. They're not real.
Show scripted. Whilst they have all
Yeah,
those papers.
the
in front of
writers
them.
did a good job, you know.
You need more support staff, Andrew. Let's hire you some background writers.
I would not argue with that.
This is where you
You need
announce the
that
Patreon.
sleeveless vest thing that Matt always wears. That's what
Oh,
gives us DM
yeah.
power.
That's a good idea. Grow your hair out too. Rock the ponytail. Well, no, don't rock the ponytail. You can just, have some nice luscious locks.
I think I actually got a character up to level 9 once, but that was because it was a meat grinder, and you basically leveled up every session or two if you survive.
Oh.
And so, yeah.
I got my players up to 8, and last time I DM'd a big game.
I think the highest I've gone is about level 4, 3 or 4.
Oh, we're so close.
Something like that.
The problem is we're actually using XP, and we're at different levels and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's
Oh
give
my
Andrew some
God.
feedback on that.
I love XP, but I hate it. I totally think it's a better system. It makes more sense.
Then what?
Than just
Milestone.
but it's just so tantalizing to just see that I need 1175 XP. I'm just give it to me. Come on.
Yeah.
Let me be level 4.
Yeah.
I like milestone, but that's just because it's like you get to a certain point in the story and you're like, okay, here's the point where you're gonna progress or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Plus, then we don't get into the situation of, okay, I fireballed that orphanage. How much XP was that worth?
Negative.
Right.
Damn
Also, I think Andrew does do XP right so far as it's not just based on how many bad guys we defeat.
Yeah.
Actually,
it.
completing a quest, good RP, we get rewarded for.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been very nebulous so far. I kind of want to do milestone, but at the same time, I feel like I would not feel like I have. I don't feel like I have a good sense for how long is it appropriate to stay at a level 8 character, because it should increase. For each level should be harder to obtain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You're kind of doing it the way I did it for that Pathfinder game where we got to level 8. Is I just didn't put it on their sheets, but I averaged out the party's XP each session, and I gave them milestones when they would have.
Yeah, you cut out again.
I just said the milestone was whenever the XP would have leveled them.
Yeah,
but it let me twist it a little bit. I could kind of fudge it a bit if they were close enough.
Yeah, I know. I was in the middle of my in-person Starfinder game on Friday, and we leveled up after the first battle in the session, and then we sat there for 20-25 minutes, doing that. And usually he would say, oh yeah, you have to do a long rest before you level up, but we were about to do a bigger combat, so he wanted to make sure that we had the level. So yeah.
So do you feel? Do you guys feel like the first 3 levels have been really slow?
Mm-mm.
I feel like it's been decent. The problem being Savon and Godric were stuck at level 2 for far longer than Sapaklu and Cole were. Because of one session.
Yeah.
So I think that's just part of what I see. If we all had the same XP despite missed sessions, or I think that worked better for a system.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of bridge the gap between milestone and normal XP.
Though I did get the benefit of getting to start at level 2 at least. If I came at level 1, this would have been difficult.
But you're still at lower XP than anyone else.
Right, as just at compromise. It's a choice. I don't have like anything against using XP. I like it. I like some aspects of it. I dislike others.
Yeah, I do try to make sure that at least I award XP for every session, even if there's not combat. And we've definitely have had several sessions where there has not been any combat at all.
Some of our best sessions.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. I think non-combat XP is really what even going back to Advanced D&D, wasn't it like you only got XP for like the killing blow?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, it creates perverse incentives. Like if I'm holding my turn just so that I can swing right after you.
Yeah.
Because like I'm
like
trying to hit the hit points.
Yeah,
it's like Fire Emblem or whatever, where you're just sitting there and you're like, okay, I'm going to get my weak guys, and they're going to go in and they're just going to get the final killing blow, so that way they get the like big experience, not just the 1 or 2 experience.
Pokemon Pokemon, you put a level 1 up front, and then your first move is to switch them
Walk them out, yeah.
So that's another topic. This has been a fairly combat light campaign. You guys, you disagree, Aramis?
Well, not disagree. I guess that's me in character thinking. Like, yes, it being a combat light campaign works really well for playing this character.
Mm-hmm.
Because his combat experience would likely have been like maybe a goblin raid once or twice a year on the farm.
Yep.
Where he whacked one with a staff and it ran away, and then they all ran away with like a few chickens or something.
Yeah, and a lot of that's definitely especially true in Jindala, where there is the rule of law and things are pretty carefully maintained. To some extent, obviously, Mindrin has some issues, in the criminal world, but you're gonna have that in any big city. But in general, like there is, they try to keep things orderly, and that's been challenging for me. Like how, like in an empire that's well established and has a ubiquitous military presence, why would you be running into monsters all the time? So like, how do you make a D&D campaign make sense in that context? And I think that's part of why it's been less combat, is because there are fewer scenarios in Jindala, in civilized parts especially, where it makes sense. But also, I enjoy the dramatic aspect of it and the roleplay.
Yeah, for me at least, like I said this at the very beginning, like I play other games when I'm looking for strategy and like deep tactical play. So it doesn't bother me when, if we only have combat every, other session or whatever, because it's not really a big deal to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely got that. This kind of RP combat balance coming into it, like I knew I was signing up for. And so I built a character that was interesting outside of just swinging his sword.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it goes back to buy-in.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, in general, I do enjoy these more RP or story-focused campaigns more anymore, because I used to be big, like, I enjoy power gaming and like making the strongest character possible, because the DM is going to try everything in his power to kill me and make it seem just barely unfair.
Mm-hmm.
Like locking me in a room and casting fireball so I can't get out of the radius no matter what. That type of thing. That's
Do
fun.
you wanna talk, Aramis?
We're here for you,
yeah.
buddy.
And so after starting to DM, I realized, okay, it is really easy to break 5e and become like really too strong. I might as well try to make a good character instead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's a lot better.
I think I got that early on. So far as I started out playing a lot of Pathfinder, and I quickly realized that like a lot of people, my best friend actually, you guys, I think some of you know Genesis, Andrew, you know Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
He shows up to every game with the subtype Dampier, Kensei, Magus, with like this very like explicit like doing 20d6 on a shocking grasp. I'm like, I don't know if it's just, and he's very typical of all the people I played with very early. And from that, I just kind of got the idea of, I want to be challenged. I don't play this game. If I wanted to play a game where it's just a matter of like blasting through enemies, they made Fable. Like video games are so much better for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
If I want to be an interesting character and have to struggle with challenge, I'm not going to go for the most optimized character.
Mm-hmm.
Struggle and face challenges with blowing it apart.
Yeah, I mean, I know with me, like, I wrote the story for my character, actually, I think originally for another campaign, and then basically it was like that little one-page write-up of what his backstory was, and then I just built the character from there. It really didn't matter what the character was. It was just trying to fit this character that I had built in my head.
Stuff.
I think that's interesting too, like how I kind of how like I moved from like a conceptual Godric into like the actual character that I have. I don't want to discuss it because it's too fun to let you guys not know. But like
This is great for Twitch. I have this really great example, but I'm not going to share it. Perfect.
No. Well, still, it just.
God, Max is such an edgelord.
I guess
I
my
have
question
this
really is
deep
when you-
story and example, but I'm not going to say it.
No, I'm working through how I want to phrase this question. Is when you create a character, how much do you start with like the broad concept and work out the details, versus like working out the mechanics of how your character works and then writing a backstory that fits your creation?
Interesting question.
So I think there's three aspects here. There's like the theme, like
You froze again.
real powerful. Sorry, I think there's a difference between a theme, backstory, and mechanics. And I think you got to do those three in order, but people vary on the order.
So what do you mean by theme versus backstory?
So, like, your backstory is like where you're from, what kind of life you lived, even if it's not exactly like my father's name is this, and like when I was 7, this happened. Like, you had a tough life.
Or my grandfather and my uncle and 13 pages of how my parents met. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I had to fill 11 pages somehow.
My story begins on the day of my birth. Both of my parents failed to attend.
My backstory does actually start with my parents, but no, I guess like the difference is your theme is the character that you show up to play with, whereas your backstory is how they became that person. So I could definitely see people like writing, extrapolating who they would be as an adventurer. I do that sometimes. I didn't do it for Godric, but
interesting.
You can do that.
Can you?
Personally, I always put mechanics last.
Ken, you look like you're about to say something profound.
No. I was reading the Twitch chat again.
I think he's contemplating growing a beard. He's always posed like he's gonna like give it a brief.
He's playing solitaire on another screen.
I'm not. I was reading the Twitch chat.
Oh. Um.
Oh God.
Yeah, so I mean, I definitely think that I am more the come up with a theme first, and then I would say I probably would say I do theme and then mechanics and then backstory, because I think that the mechanics uh can inform some of your backstory decisions. So if if as I'm building the character, I realize that a certain feat would fit well with the theme that I'm going towards. Um, as I'm building the feats, then I might look in the backstory to figure out, okay, well, why do I have that specific feat? So that's probably the order that I do the most. Or you may find out that when you roll your stats, you have one stat that's got to be a really crappy dump stat because you rolled a 6, and that would certainly have an impact on your backstory.
Yeah, with regards in that in particular, I have like at least 5 characters with backstories done just sitting in reserve, and when I'm like joining a campaign, I roll stats first, and based on that is which character I choose.
Oh, interesting.
So if Cole had a way worse stat or had only one really good stat, it might have been different.
Huh. I know one of the most one of the games that I didn't actually end up playing long term. But the character creation was really cool because you rolled your stats in order, and then you just had to deal with whatever they were.
Matt Colville has
So
several.
Yeah.
okay, so then that was interesting because I ended up with, whatever, but it was definitely not something I usually play. I think it was like high wisdom, so I ended up playing like a kobold cleric. And then I got to build it from the back from there. But I think that's the only time I've ever done like stats first.
I actually did do that once. My first actual D&D character was I decided to take the standard array. Not only take the standard array, but take it in order. So 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8. Yeah. And build a character from that.
You were
And
young and naive.
I just thought it would
Nice.
be a fun thing to do, and it was actually. I built a half-orc Battlemaster fighter.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah, funny kind of story on that same in order thing. So same group of GMs that I'm salty about forever. For one campaign that lasted 2 sessions,
oh no,
the GM decided to say, okay, let's all roll stats in order, but because I don't want people to feel like they got, messed up because of the stats, you can roll as many times as you want. Uh, Believably, it's predictably, nobody had any stats below 16 at level 1.
Yeah.
How is that fun to play?
Was it?
Because you survive one session.
Okay, sure.
I play with a GM. I'm actually in his Thursday game for Pathfinder right now. 4d6, reroll once, drop 1. So yeah, you end up with some pretty hefty stats. I think my fighter I'm playing right now started with 3 17s.
Whew.
But he also gauges the game for the fact that you're going to be demigods, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real interesting stat roll, I'd
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. But I mean, that's all about buy-in too, right? It's like, okay, you're going to play this really high-powered campaign. Like, I really like low-level stuff where you're scared of dying just because it is a little bit more danger all the time.
Yeah.
also everything's a little bit simpler because like as you level up, you get more options, and then it's like it takes a little bit more mental energy to actually play the character. So I like low levels a lot.
I do not like low levels actually. I I think that the range of things that you can do with a somewhat higher level character, maybe not like super high level, but around 10 to 12 um gets a lot more interesting because the players have so many more options and capabilities, and so you can throw things at them that you have no clue how they could possibly solve it, but they have such a wide range of tools at their disposal that they can come up with really interesting solutions.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. From a mechanical standpoint, I agree a lot. From a character standpoint, I think the lower levels, if you're learning, come up with a new character and building that character,
Sure.
makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Having you have two options at first level for most classes, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's pretty simple. You decide from here and you build off, and okay, based on this experience, next level he'll do this and this.
Like you getting
Because
a
there are
bunch of
definitely,
shield spells and stuff.
yeah. Actually, I had more at level 1 than I do right now.
Okay,
So
there you go.
that's fun. Anyway.
Were you saying something, Max?
No.
Okay.
I do have a question if we want to shift a bit.
Sure.
So I was thinking, and it seemed like this from our last session, but let's say a few levels down the road, we have a good bit of cash, and we want to buy like a specific magic item. The sort of 5th edition method of, there's a specific set of magic items available, like what's around, what you're able to buy. It's not just kind of a hand wave of like, oh, you have 2,000 gold, you can get like a belt of whatever.
I think that if you're in Mindrin, chances are pretty good that you're going to be able to find a wide variety of magic items. I'm not going to say it's a given, but your chances are certainly higher than if you're not in Mindrin or Zybus, the capital, whatever I named that I can never remember because whatever. Yeah, those two would be the biggest places for magic items, and so yeah, I think that would be the biggest factor.
Okay.
So with that in mind, guys, who feels like derailing the next session to find a deck of many things?
How much does that cost?
Our lives. And our souls, most likely.
Yeah,
I've had nothing but good experiences with them. I don't know what you guys are talking about. No, seriously, I've had nothing but good experiences with them.
My only experience is reading what the different cards did in the probably 3.0 Dungeon Master Guide. I think that's the only experience I have.
That's going way back. Yeah, I've definitely never run anything with a deck of many things. Again, going back to the Critical Role example, they did an amazing job of that. Where the character with an intelligence of 6 wound up with a deck of many things in his hands, and that went about as you would expect, and yet they managed to do it without breaking the game, although they came close a few times, and it turned out really well.
Is that in the first campaign?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have not listened to the first campaign, just because the audio is so bad at the beginning.
Yeah.
I could listen to more than one episode.
Yeah. Yep. The production quality definitely goes up as you get further into the campaign.
Just like exploring Suphyria,
That's true.
production quality going up as we go through the campaign.
I hope so. I feel like it has.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. I mean, I think we've been going for over an hour now. I think that's a pretty good amount of time. Is there anything else you guys want to discuss before Ken falls asleep?
I haven't taken my melatonin yet. I'm good.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Cool. Well, this has been fun. I enjoy picking
Yeah,
your guys'
it's
brain.
cool.
And see what you're thinking. It helps me always.
Okay, ready? So one last thing.
Okay.
Everyone has to come up with something on the spot that Andrew should include in the campaign. Something random.
A giant flying spaghetti monster.
Oh, man, this is a bad idea.
I mean,
The Rastafarians are our real religion.
I mean, you can come up with that. It doesn't mean it's gonna actually happen.
Deck of many things.
Okay, this is a double bad idea.
You knew this. You
Don't
knew
worry,
this
guys.
was
I
going
have
to
the
happen.
best luck drawing those cards. We'll be fine.
I also don't have any good ideas.
Godric will give up an age category for like 100,000 golden magic items.
Ooh, no, I got it. So something that I've been wanting to put in a campaign, and you could totally use, a nation of kobolds.
A nation of kobolds.
Yes.
Interesting.
So if you have an empty island, there you go. I figured it out for you.
Hang on. So we have flying spaghetti monster.
He obviously isn't taking this exercise seriously.
I'm writing it down. What are you talking about?
Oh wait, can I
Deck of
change
many
mine, actually?
things.
No, can I change mine?
I mean, you can add to the list. We're just giving him gold here.
And a nation of kobolds. Go ahead, Max. Add something else.
False Hydra.
Oh no.
God.
Veto. Hard veto.
False Hydra. All right.
Just that's so hard to play and so hard to DM.
I know.
Flying
But if it
spaghetti
goes
monster
well, it goes
actually-
really well.
It actually works. You could use flumps. They're great and never used.
Flumps?
Yeah, flumps.
Flumps. They're like neutral good beholders, but they're so cute.
Flumps.
Really?
Oh, don't Google flumps.
I wasn't gonna Google it.
They're little coconut people. No, I don't think that's the right thing. Okay, there we go. They look like, yeah, flying spaghetti
Yeah.
monster.
Oh, that is adorable. That does look like a flying spaghetti monster.
There you go.
Wait. If we have a flying spaghetti monster, though, doesn't that also mean that there's a heaven with a beer volcano and stripper factory?
I mean, logically.
It's the religion.
I'm assuming that's a Pastafarian joke. 'Cause I don't-
It's part of their belief system. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anything else we can think of? The gold mine of our ideas? No? Alright, next time I'll have us prepare and not just ask it at the last second.
And I
I
mean,
want somebody to invent trains.
Yeah,
Not
train.
like the little track system, like intercity train system.
Yes,
Oh.
trains. Steam-powered trains.
for going between cities?
Yep.
No. Just trains.
I mean, there's
I mean,
the
we
lightning
have the
rail
lightning rails.
with
No, that's a lightning rail, though. That's not a train.
And I want a train.
Yeah, can we get a train?
I will add that to the list.
And a gun. Godric wants a gun.
Oh, guns.
There are guns in the world.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh. think Supaklu might also be interested in a gun.
Yeah. I'm not going to say
More
a
like
lot more about that, but
what are something like he can crank and it shoots out rapidly?
A puckle gun?
What?
A puckle gun.
Is that what they're called?
If you're talking this primitive, it's the closest you're gonna get.
I was thinking like in the Civil War when they made like crazy inventions that didn't really work out too well.
Oh, the puckle gun dates back to like just after the Revolutionary War.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. It's you basically have like a big like cylinder where like
Yeah. Oh, we'll never know what's in the
and
cylinder.
as you crank it, well, it's like a revolver chamber, and as one person cranks it, another one loads like rounds into the bottom, and then
Oh,
when they come up to the top, they fire.
cool. All right, I think this is.
We're just gonna go more off tangent now.
I mean, I've got a whole list, and none of these are
Puckle gun?
definitely ever going to come back to bite you. I will definitely say that.
Did you add Puckle gun there?
I put a gun on the list.
All right.
I did not add puckle gun specifically. Is that what you want?
Yeah, I guess we have to now.
I suppose.
Puckle gun. How's that spelled?
Just like it sounds.
Yeah, like buckle with a P.
Interesting. All right.
So here's a semi-related question. What would happen if we were hypothetically to make the sun go supernova in Suphyria?
What? The campaign would end?
If we destroy the sun? Okay, good to know. No reason.
What are you talking about?
Are you secretly a cultist? Is Cole secretly a cultist?
What?
Does Cole worship the little-known Pathfinder god of Grodus?
I think they're onto us, Peck.
He's a giant moon at the end of the world, just comes and eats it.
Oh boy, I think this Q&A has gone off the rails.
We can cut this out in post. Don't worry.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, we were doing really well for a while there. We were really on track and
Yeah.
getting some good stuff.
Yeah. I do think we got a little too far off of the campaign and more into like RP in general, or tabletop in general. But whatever.
That's all right.
Well, that kind of works. We're still fairly early in most of our characters and backstories, so can't really talk about too much. For most of them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that we should wrap up here and let Ken get a good night's sleep and me get a good night's sleep. I had a crazy night last night. And yeah, everybody tune in on Tuesday for our Rise of the Rune Lords campaign. We're adding a new player this week, which I'm very excited about. Broken Milk is joining the Rise of the Rune Lords campaign. For those of you who know her, she's an excellent role player, and I'm very excited to play with her again because I have not played with her for a long time. So should be a lot of fun.
Raise the roof.
And then tune back in here next Sunday night, hopefully, for the real session 12 of Exploring Suphyria.
The real session 12.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna probably upload this as just a generic Q&A session.
Yeah.
Yeah, bonus content. There you go.
Bonus content.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you soon. We need a catchphrase to end streams with.
Suphyria.
Is it Sunday yet?
Stay classy, Suphyria.
No, we're not saying that.
We don't say
Suphyria?
anything, we just...
I barely knew her.
Oh, jeez. Just dab. All right. Good night, everyone.